You guys have watched the game yesterday. Bottle. Tottenham Hotspurs 2. Manchester United 0. Hey, what's up, Raj and Doc? Well, salam sejahtera and welcome to JomUnited. We are a Malaysia Manchester United YouTube channel dengan bangga dia Buatan. Oh, sorry ya, Malaysia. So back to you, George. To you, Raj.
Alright,
Telegram.
you can also join our Telegram group. Boleh join group Telegram kita di link ada di dalam description. So feel free to join us. And I know this week has started in a mess, and all of us are trying to recuperate after what happened early this morning. Back to you, Smurf.
Okay, so guys, I believe that some of you have seen this coming. We have seen this coming since the first game of the BPL against Wolves. So, what's your take on yesterday's game, today morning's game, Doc?
Oh, what a poor performance. I actually thought the first half was not too bad. Not too bad. At least we were creating some chances. But the second half, we totally fell apart. There were too many gaps everywhere. No discipline. There was no fight. There was, a lack of trying, actually. And deserved to lose yesterday.
Deserve to lose. So, basically, is there anything in the first half that you can highlight to us that actually impressed you? Anything in the first half since? Yeah.
I think we created some chances. We created some clear chances. I think Bruno missed the header, Rashford a couple of chances. But what it did highlight, right, is the clear need for a proper centre forward or striker. That's what it definitely showed. We created a few chances, but nobody to put it away.
If you were ETH yesterday, if you were ETH in the dugout, what would you have did for the front three? I mean, you started with Garnacho, you started with Anthony, and also with Rashi. What would you have did?
No, I thought at halftime, and I think we were doing a live show with Coach Tom as well, right? I actually thought the front three were quite decent, or better than they performed against Wolves, anyways. Not overly creating a lot of chances, but at least we had the possession. We were a little bit threatening, especially Garnacho. He took on players yesterday. Much better performance than what he did against Wolves. And what happened was in the second half, he just totally disappeared, right? So I thought if I was ETH, the substitutions would have definitely come earlier. I think he waited too long for the substitutions, and I think the substitutions baffled me, to be honest. I don't know why he brought in Dallo for Bisaka. I don't know why he brought in Ericsson for, I think, Anthony, right? Sancho was the right move. But I would have actually, that time you were already chasing a goal, you're one down. The only option we had, the striker, is probably Martial. If he's on the bench, I assume he's fit. He should have played. Move Rashford to the left because he was clearly not comfortable playing in the center.
I think Coach Dom will be very happy to hear this, probably.
I'm only saying it because he's not here,
Okay, Raj. Please, your take about the game yesterday, this morning.
I feel Luke Shaw, Lisandro Martinez, and Casemiro shared some hamburgers before the game. All three looked winded. They look like they cannot run a mile. I mean, all four of us could have played instead of most of them, I guess. That's how bad it was. Except for maybe Onana. Onana did a few things. I mean, I wouldn't blame him for both the goals. Although a lot of people would have... I mean, Doc, in your defense, a lot of people would have slated De Gea for the second goal. But never it was him there. But nevertheless, I think we look off the pace and we look like we are still in the United States. That's how I would sum it up. There's something wrong with the mentality of the players. Right? Don't get me started with Marcus Rashford. He will play about 2 good months in a 9-month season, and then people will think that he's in contention for a Ballon d'Or. Honestly, but the point of the matter is he actually the person who's supposed to lead the line for us? The answer is no. Maybe with regards to Martial, I think Eric Ten Hag would have thought if I had actually put him to warm up before the game, he probably would have got injured again. So that is why he kept him for the second half. So that's my very very brief take on what actually happened.
Yeah, but we saw that last season as well, right, Raj? I mean, Rashford, when he was scoring, he was basically carrying the team. There was no contribution from goals from elsewhere, right? And that is why at the end of the season, he clearly highlighted that we really needed a striker, all and out and out striker. And after
The
you finish second in the season, right, and you picked up your first trophy, what we needed is to carry that momentum into the next season, right? So your signings had to be important. We should have gone out for a top class center forward, right? Or okay, not. I mean, we don't know about Hoyland yet because he hasn't played, right? So I reserve comments. But at least we got a striker. We should have gone out for a world class midfielder. Okay, either Rice, Bellingham. I would even add Amrabat to that list. Okay, and that is still a possibility.
I mean, to
Right?
echo what Doc says, I think we should have got Amrabat as a first signing instead of Mason Mount. I don't know what he brings to the team. I'm not too sure. Maybe Smurf, you can
Maybe
ask our Amrabat
Josh,
in.
welcome Amrabat in. Okay, keep Amrabat out of the squad at the moment. Okay, do you think personally that the midfield that ETH has currently played for 2 games direct, Casemiro, Mount, and also Bruno Fernandes, can improve working, or is there any tweaks that you would change if you were ETH?
So now the problem is we need an extra man in midfield. By technically, ETH tactics is supposed to have like either Shaw or AWB covering and helping out Casemiro, but it's totally not working out. We are backfired on that. Especially when our wingers are losing the ball so fast and then they counter attack so fast. You know, that was supposed to be the play. Like either the wing backs covering for Casemiro. Casemiro cannot play himself. That's the whole reality, right? But when Shaw and AWB goes up and the counter attack happens, like we saw when Garnacho lose out or Rashford or Anthony lose out, they are so easy. They come into our midfield. That's why we need some workhorse in the middle and to play alongside Casemiro. Maybe you're not ready because we, like what Doc mentioned, we may not have the profile yet to play that system, but that is supposed to be the way. But Casemiro cannot play alone. We need someone who can play alone to start with. That's why I'm full on with Amrabat to come in. But it's not good enough. Definitely not good enough. You're going to go with these 3 midfielders all the way to the season end. Then we are looking at a very, very horrible season for sure.
What do you think Fred would have actually did if it was Fred who had started ahead of Mason Mount yesterday? Do you think that would have made any changes to the game?
No, I don't think so. Also, I think it's just the system. We are not playing to the system that we want. You can have Mbappe or Declan Rice there, but we are not following the flow of play because this gameplay is you need all 11 players to participate. One profile will never change the whole game. Like now, everyone is expecting Holland to come back and score. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You expect him to score 20, 30 goals. It's not going to happen for sure. He's a young lad. And a lot of pressure is going to be on to him when he comes back. And I'm going to feel so pity for him when he comes back. I hope it backfires and, he does score and be the generational talent and so forth. But I don't see it happening. We still need a center forward and a midfield.
Yeah, I actually don't agree. I think
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
Fred would have actually provided some energy in that midfield. I'm not saying he would have done brilliantly, but he would have provided some energy in the midfield. I don't know what gameplay you're talking about, Josh, because I can't see any gameplay. I literally cannot see any proper gameplay, any building from the back, which was so claimed that once we got Onana, the DDG was the problem, and once we got Onana, we can play out the back. I don't see it. So, is this down to coaching? This is probably down to coaching. The coaching is not good enough. You either buy the players to fit your system, right, and you coach the rest of the players that you have into making your system work. You can't buy all 11 players. But right now, the players that he bought and the players that he inherited are still not making that system work, right? So again, is it down to coaching or is it down to the players?
Josh? Is it
I,
to the coaching or to the players?
I'll still say it's a balance of both. And Ten Hag can do as much as the coaching person. But yesterday, everyone looked so demotivated. So what if the message was transpired to play so and so and so. Discipline wasn't there. I know for those who play football there in this channel, right? You will know if, let's say, as much as the manager can tell you, but the motivation is not there. And this is what, no, I only can. And you know, I'm a big Bruno fan, right? I can only blame him for this, for the whole game that was played. Because your manager can't play the game, he can only transpire his messages during that 90 minutes. But he has to step up and play accordingly. Nothing was happening. That was my biggest disappointment from him yesterday, because he should lead the team, even instructing teams instead of scolding the referee. Scold your players lah. Why was he so agitated to the referee? We are doing so badly. We are not even going. So he was the second person in hierarchy wise after the manager. He should be dictating all this play. I was so disappointed that, you know, when things are bad, we didn't have anyone to look up to. To be very honest, right, I apart from the second goal where he was frozen, I think Onana was the most calmest guy there, because he knows in that fact, right, we can come back. All we need is that one goal, and then we can come back. But if our captain is going to be such sulking the whole way, okay lah, don't mind Rashford, Anthony losing the ball, it happens. But we need the manager to, you know, give a bang on their head lah, to say, hey, come on, we need to come back. It's 1-0 down. It's okay. Let's get the one goal first.
So to Raj, I have a question for you, Raj. Okay, based on the game against Wolves, okay, Onana, we all know it was 90% a penalty, and the referees admitted their mistake, and basically they have been they are facing the music for it. But do you think that was a factor that contributed to United not gaining a penalty yesterday? Because I mean, a lot of other people, they say that United get it easy from the referees and stuff like that. Do you think that might have been influenced? I mean, that Wolf game might have influenced the referee yesterday for not awarding us a clear-cut penalty?
I mean, to be honest, anyone who says that United always gets easy penalties must be watching rugby or some other sports instead, because we are one of the very few teams who gets decisions our way. And when it comes to the other side of the spectrum, even if someone accidentally spat on the opposing player, the other team will get a penalty against us. That's how it used to be. If you don't believe, then go and watch the earlier seasons. We never get it easy with the referee. Yeah, yes, last week probably was one of those odd days when we got a decision our way. But yesterday was a stonewall penalty. Come on, let's not kid ourselves. All right, it was Liverpool or some other team. A player just skips hopscotch and falls in the penalty box. That will be a penalty. All right, or the ball hits side of his hand, which is closing his private part or something like that. That will be a penalty. But when it comes to Manchester United, all of a sudden it's not a penalty, even if he's carrying a hand like a goalkeeper and the ball totally went to and the opposite direction after it hit his hand. So I feel that bad refereeing. I want to see what FIFA does with all these other referees who were involved during the last game, including the VAR, if they are suspended continuously for the next game and they maintain it, or they are just doing once again to prove that they are being unbiased. All right. So I honestly feel it's a stonewall penalty, and the favoritism is against us. It's not for us. If you're watching football, you will know.
Okay, Josh, I noticed you were very hard going in and saying that the first half was good. The first half was good. Okay, the first half was good against Spurs. So, did you mean that the first half was better performance than the second half, and overall we were still garbage? I'm sorry to say, for me it was totally garbage. Okay, it's just that you were splitting the first half and the second half, and the first half is just lesser garbage than the second half. Or do you really mean it that the first half was a good play and the second half was totally garbage? Please.
I would say that the first half is an example of clear expectation why we need a striker, because we created chances and we didn't score. But with that said, I wouldn't say we played fantastic or great, right? We are just lesser garbage, like you put it. It's lesser garbage. We expect better. But it's moments like this where we play horribly and we can still score goals. That's what's special about United. Like someone coming up from the box, someone running a late run after a total garbage 80 minutes, and one person will just come up with a brilliance. We scored a goal. I expected that on the first half. But like you rightly said, it's horrible. Why I say we played well is that we just needed the 2 conversions. We had 1 penalty out. We had Bruno miss an opener, right? All these chances, we had a lot of times where we could have scored goals, we couldn't finish. If we were to take the chances, I can rest assured second half wouldn't be the second half that we played yesterday. We could have been played more confidently. I think the yesterday confidence in the second half was bad because the whole stadium was away game some more, right? And we are still 0-0. Of course, it's going to favor the home crowd. But yeah, I would have said that we just played better than second half, but it's holistically it's not the best of games. We played well to convert. We just needed to convert. That's it.
Okay. Besides that, so you said that the first half is basically way better than the second half, but it's still garbage. Doc, what's your opinion on it?
I thought the first half was decent. Again, when I say decent, it was even because Spurs also had some chances going forward. So it was even on both sides, but at least we created some chances, Stonewall penalty, I agree with Raj. Okay, we saw similar, people were saying, oh, it's very too close to him. He couldn't move his hand out of the way. Rubbish. His hand was a mile away from his body. Okay. I think we saw a similar penalty given in the Women's World Cup final this evening. If you all recall, Liverpool got a penalty when Salah kicked it at Sissoko's hand in the Champions League final from such a close distance. That was 100% penalty. And I agree with you, Smurfs, as well. Probably last week's decision is playing in the minds of everyone. And then they decided. But with VAR, right, there's no excuse. If it's a referee giving on-field decision, right, this you can say, yes, okay, maybe they were influenced by the previous weeks. But you have review by VAR. You have no more excuse to not give the penalty. Okay? And then Bruno missing a header. And I think I mentioned this earlier. Josh mentioned it. It clearly shows that we need a striker. But the second half was really, really poor. And the fact that, it's been happening from last season, right? How many games we came in the second half and played really badly? So where is our improvement now? It's coming back to the same thing. And then
Square one.
This heads down and demoralized after conceding a goal has going back to how many years back? The last few years. We're still doing the same thing. Last time we blamed it on Maguire. Maguire is the captain. His head drops. Everybody drops. Now, it's the same thing.
Bruno.
So
if it's not Bruno, then who would you want to be the captain?
You can't blame the captain. These are, you got 11 supposed to be international world-class players on the pitch. You concede a goal, you cannot drop so much. You have to fight back. And we are Manchester United. We are known for fighting back. Right? That is in our DNA, right? People say, in our DNA. That's what have always been done. And to show no fight, no interest to fight, no discipline, right? It's very poor. I'm very disappointed with the performance yesterday. And this is the Spurs team that just lost Harry Kane.
How Doc is trying to defend Maguire and put him alongside Bruno Fernandes. Come on, this is two different comparisons. You're comparing an apple and orange, man.
Yeah,
seriously.
Doc, I'm saying is
from Doc,
we all
coming from Doc and Josh.
Hey guys, 1 minute. We have the original host back, and let's welcome Coach Dom. Coach Dom, salam sejahtera, Coach Dom.
Yo, apa khabar? Okay, so guys, sekarang saya tengah live sedikit. Minta bersabar. Yes. Brothers sekalian, apa khabar?
Live dua tempat ke, Coach Dom?
Kalau boleh bawa lah, kau ni memang menakjubkan lah. Very short. Sekejap. Okay. First half, semalam dekat TikTok, Coach Dom cakap Manchester United bagus, padu. Second half tak padu sangat. Betul ke first half tu padu? Kau cuba terangkan.
Untuk saya memanglah, untuk saya ini dia tanya soalan tanya kepada saya. So, memang untuk saya first half permainan kita saya rasa memang bagus. Sejujurnya memang bagus. Cuma finishing tak ada. Kalau ada semalam finishing, kalau ada masuk gol, kamu mesti akan cakap padu punya. Kamu akan mesti cakap #believe. I love Manchester United. I love Harry Kane. Betul.
Kita memang cinta Manchester United.
Permainan kita daripada semalam, daripada tengok sebelum ni, midfield kita memang berselerak, memang barai, memang tak ada halat tuju. Sekurang-kurangnya semalam melekat midfield kita. Dan nak cakap pasal Mason Mount lah, banyak yang hantar Mason Mount lah. Kalau betul-betul memerhatikan permainan semalam, separuh masa pertama lah, Memang untuk saya kan peranan Mason Mount penting separuh masa pertama. Dia pecahkan banyak play. Lepas tu daripada dia ambil bola tu pass kepada Luke Shaw yang cross kepada Bruno, yang Bruno miss header tu, itu daripada Mason Mount. Dan juga 2-3 lagi chance, semua daripada Mason Mount. Dan juga seorang lagi yang dikecam oleh banyak orang, Anthony Santos pun sama juga. Dia untuk saya bukan seorang winger lah, memang koyak, tak boleh main final third, hancur. Kalau dia main inverted right back ke apa, posisi middle third tu, itu terbaik. Yang crossing dalam semua crossing dia buat kat mana? Crossing tengah padang bagi Garnacho, betul tak? So untuk saya lah, first half tu memang saya rasa bagus. Kalau ada finishing, of course lagi bagus. Second half jangan cerita lah. Second half semua hancur lah. Bruno pun boleh hancur second half. Apatah lagi yang lain-lain Mason Mount lah. Okay, tapi nak mempersalahkan Mason Mount, cakap dia flop, dia patut keluar, saya tak setuju sangat lah. Bila kamu letak Eriksen main kat tengah, nombor 8 tu, macam mana kamu nak harapkan Mason Mount buat kerja? Eriksen pegang midfield. Boleh ke Eriksen pegang midfield? So itulah saya punya
But tetapi walau we are talking about standard Manchester United break up play, okay? Dia pecahkan permainan mungkin 2-3 kali di separuh masa pertama. Selepas tu mungkin create satu chance yang Coach Tom cakap pass ke Luke Shaw cross in, dan Bruno pun terperanjat, ada cross masuk, tak header langsung atau header out or something like that. So itu ke standard Manchester United tahun 2023 ni.
Kamu
Itu ke bagus?
Kamu kena cakap standard. Kamu expect daripada kosong terus ke langit ke? Atau kamu nak tengok perubahan satu persatu? Kalau kamu bandingkan game yang Wolves hari tu, kita pun midfield langsung tak boleh pakai. Sekurang-kurangnya boleh pakai melekat. Itu bukan satu progress ke? Kamu expect macam mana?
So progress, you cakap dari Wolves, dari game Wolves tu ada progress, sekarang ada progress.
Terus kita main dengan 2008 punya squad. Expectation macam mana? Ini ialah deluded fans kalau you tanya saya.
Kalau you nak progress tu.
Sekejap.
Okay, Raj.
Bagi saya pencerahan sikit lah. Ini bukan pre-season tau, Coach Dom. Kita dah masuk 2 game dalam season ni. Kalau pre-season you nak lekat ini semua, dan Mason Mount adalah cadangan atau pemain pertama yang masuk oleh Erik ten Hag musim ini. Alright? Kalau Anthony dah masuk season kedua, kalau dia nak masih nak korek dalam seluar dia, cari apa dekat dalam tu, ini bukan masa ni. Semalam berapa ramai pemain yang sedar Anthony ada dekat padang. Sampai separuh masa kedua, 3/4 of the time he went missing. Itulah perkara sebenar. We have to remember, kita sebagai fan, kita mahukan gameplay kita improve daripada tempat ketiga tahun season lepas untuk challenge Arsenal. Kita tak bercakap pasal pre-season sekarang, Coach Dom. Bukan deluded fans tau. Kita ini fans yang tengok pre-season, sekarang dah masuk game kedua, perkara itu patut improve. Tapi sekarang player punya fitness pun tak ada. Macam pre-season. Kalau nak jawab macam tu, macam mana pula?
So saya faham. Tapi daripada satu game kepada satu game, apa perubahan yang you nak nampak, Raj? Tolong kongsilah. Daripada game hari tu menentang Wolves memang koyak. Apa yang kamu nak nampak?
Perubahan yang saya nampak itu, Mason Mount yang pakai nombor 7 dibeli untuk 60 million tu, tunjuklah lebih banyak chances created. Berapa chances created yang dia buat?
Kalau dia posisi, dia main sepatutnya nombor 8, kamu nak apa chances created? Yang Erik ten Hag cakap nak masukkan Mason Mount tu sebagai box to box role, main defensif, bawa bola, pass ke hadapan. Saya kalau untuk saya lah, pandangan saya first half, dia buat kerja yang disuruh. Dia ambil bola, dia pass ke hadapan. Selepas tu Luke Shaw buat assist, siapa-siapa buat kerja. Bukankah itu yang dikatakan, yang kita baca pasal Mason Mount tu?
Untuk saya dia masih belum buat dia punya tanggungjawab. Bagi saya lah, Mason Mount tu dia tengah beradu dengan Bruno Fernandes untuk siapa lebih baik untuk main dalam satu posisi yang sama. Itu yang cara yang saya tengok. Sebab bagi saya mereka tidak memainkan dua peranan yang berbeza, tapi mereka memainkan peranan yang serupa. We don't want two players who are doing the same thing over and over again. Kita nak dua orang main, satu sebagai nombor 8, satu sebagai nombor 10. That is my observation of the whole thing.
So is that disebabkan itu, adakah itu masalah Mason Mount atau bukan arahan yang diberi oleh manager? Siapa yang silap kat sana? Mason Mount ke manager?
So tak apalah, kita mahu ini perubahan sikit-sikit setiap game. Lepas 10 game kita mid table, selepas 15 game kita relegation. Performance
Tapi
is not good enough.
yang paling penting kalau nak argue ialah pasal Martial lah. Ini pasal Martial lah. Okay guys, ini Martial. Saya kena bertahan.
Okay, sekarang itu the substitution was made very late. Okay, betul. Pasal Martial. Okay. Apakah pendapat Coach Dom? Kalau Martial masuk say right away, Jose style second half, you know Anthony tu memang tak boleh main dah. Okay, tak tahu dia buat apa dekat padang tu, keluarkan dia. Okay, masukkan Rashford ke sebelah kiri. Okay, Garnacho tu buang ke sebelah kanan and masuk Martial. Do you think that would have been a better bet?
Yes. Honestly,
Be bold,
yes.
be bold. You got to be bold. ETH, he got to be bold. Take the risk.
Yes,
But
untuk
now,
saya rasakan daripada dia keluarkan dia masukkan Eriksen lah, dia keluarkan Anthony lah, dia keluarkan Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Saya rasa kalau dia masukkan Martial, sekurang-kurangnya saya rasa Martial boleh menimbangkan, melekatkan bahagian tengah kita. Yang Martial ni dia main false line, kalau berbanding dengan Rashford, saya rasa dia lebih bagus daripada Rashford. Itu saya rasa sekurang-kurangnya add one more body kepada midfield, boleh kita at least menstablekan kita punya midfield, di mana kita kena tekan habis-habisan oleh Spurs tu semalam. Yang bila dia ambil keluar Anthony, ambil keluar Aaron Wan-Bissaka, you buka satu lagi lubang sebelah kanan kita. Dan kita belum lagi stable masa tu. Bukannya kita dah equalize ke, kita dapat momentum, tak ada. Memang langsung tak ada momentum. Apa yang dia Erik ten Hag buat masa tu, dia nak cuba untuk breakthrough, nak cuba serang. Macam mana nak serang bila you letak Eriksen kat tengah? Macam mana you nak pegang midfield kat tengah? So untuk saya, lebih baik dia masukkan Martial. Saya rasa dia punya hasil akan lebih bagus lah. Lebih menyenang mata memandang lah.
Okay, last question. Kita tahu Coach Dom ni seorang sekarang berpengaruh di TikTok.
Abang bola lah,
sangat
abang
berpengaruh
bola.
tu. Okey, tetapi oleh kerana masa yang singkat ni, satu lagi soalan untuk tanya. Basically the goal that we considered play from the back. Kita semua tahu ETH bawa Onana menggantikan David De Gea, tidak renew kontrak David De Gea kerana David De Gea banyak yang kata dia tak tahu main dari belakang. Dia tak play, he cannot make good passes and so forth. So sekarang ni dengan Onana, adakah nampak sangat Manchester United sekarang ni play from the back, play possessional football, quick transition football? Ada nampak tak?
Sekarang to be honest, belum lagi. Apa yang kita dapatkan Onana, saya rasa tak ada lagi lah. Tak ada. At least satu sajalah yang bola panjang kepada Garnacho. Just that. Satu sajalah. Itu satu sajalah. Apa yang akan datang, apa yang kita akan dapat manfaat daripada dapat modern goalkeeper, itu di masa hadapan lah. Buat masa ini, saya rasa apa yang beza, ada satu ada janggut, satu tak ada janggut saja. Lebih kurang sama. Dua-dua pun okey sajalah. Bukan modern goalkeeper lah. Kita belum lagi dapat bermain lah dengan taktik Erik ten Hag lah, play from the back lah, high pressing, high possession, tak adalah. Saya rasa tak adalah. Dan satu lagi benda tadi pasal Raj, sebelum saya lupa, yang pasal pemain masukkan Mason Mount pilihan utama. Untuk saya kan, pendapat saya lah, yang pilihan utama dia nak Mason Mount tu, saya rasa mungkin ada dipengaruhi oleh faktor-faktor owner Manchester United, faktor-faktor kewangan ke apa. Kalau betul-betul dia ada pilihan kan, saya rasa Mason Mount bukan yang utama. Saya rasa dia akan dapatkan yang lain, mungkin Harry Kane ke siapalah. Sebagaimana kita tahu sebelum ini press conference, yang Erik ten Hag selalu tekankan, dia tak cakap pasal midfield. Apa dia cakap? Kita perlukan finisher, kita perlukan finisher, kita perlukan finisher. So untuk saya, pendapat saya kan, yes, memang hasil dia ialah Mason Mount yang pertama, tetapi dalam otak Erik ten Hag, yang orang yang dia nak pertama ialah seorang striker lah, pendapat saya.
So you are trying to say that basically ETH is not totally in control of the players that he want to bring in? That is still controlled by the board? The same thing macam Ole, RR and all the managers before that? So is that what you say? So ETH is actually there's no difference. There's not much difference. Memang tak ada beza.
Dia sekurang-kurangnya saya rasa Erik ten Hag ada memberi tekanan sedikit kepada board but of course end of the day yang paling kuat sekarang buat masa sekarang ialah Glazers. Definitely akan mempengaruhi dia punya apa yang dia inginkan lah. Kita punya owner is shit lah, korang mesti tahu kan. So memanglah kita tak boleh harapkan yang banyak daripada dia orang lah. Dan kita tengoklah yang menarik ialah daripada 2 minggu yang terakhir ini sepatutnya kita punya time to shine kan. Orang cakap Manchester United start kerja bila di akhir transfer window. So hopefully kita dapat
yang shine tu lagi shine tu kepala dog lagi shining tau. Betul. Kepala dog lagi shining tau.
Tapi ETH mau Onana dapat, mau Højlund dapat. So you can't blame everything on the board kan. So I nak tanya satu soalan, Coach Dom. You kata first half kita create banyak chances tak score, right? So in the end of the transfer window, so far transfer window kita dah spend 200 million. 200 million tu cukup untuk beli Harry Kane dengan midfielder yang bagus, what? Kenapa kita tak buat tu? That was the problem. Tapi kita beli goalkeeper yang baru, kita beli midfield yang baru. When the problem of striker, tak sampai tengok Harry Kane pergi Bayern, first game dah score 1 gol, assist 1 gol. Itu yang kita perlukan untuk go from where we were last season, nak improve, that's where we go. Bukan deteriorate from last season and then be happy performance that a bit better from the Wolves game.
First half compared to second half. Okay,
So,
Coach Dom.
Totally different question.
Okay, dapat. Sekarang
Dia apa tau? Dog ni tanya soalan dia jawab sendiri. Okay, saya
okay. Sekarang soalan terakhir sebelum you are excused from the YouTube of JomUnited kau fokus dekat TikTok. Soalan terakhir. What is your prediction for Forest menentang Manchester United? First one, is the lineup going to be the same? Is there going to be any difference in the lineup?
Bounce back FC. United hantam kau. United hantam kau 4-0 lah. Masa akan start.
Bounce. Sekarang ni kau cakap bounce back is basically bounce back or bounce back. Because that's what we did. We bounce back against Wolves.
Lompat atas. Ini pandai main kita tukar kata.
Okay. Terus Dom. Terima kasih atas sudi meluangkan masa dengan kita ya. Kita jumpa lagi sekali.
I love you all.
Goodbye. Okay, Doc, I believe you were pretty unhappy with a few things that Coach Dom said, especially about Mason Mount, Raj. But you two were very vocal, and of course, Mr. Josh is keeping quite quiet. So, Josh, do you agree with Dom about Mason Mount?
Josh was eating quiet.
You having popcorn and watching the fun.
Eating chicken very well lah.
Chicken 65. No lah, I mean, to be very honest, right, the Mason Mount buy is a profile buy from Ten Hag. If you ask me yesterday, did he perform? Of course not. It's very obvious. It wasn't the signing that we wanted him, right? But what we want is like what you guys, all of us expect, improvement game by game. All right. So yesterday first half was okay. We didn't have a finisher. If only we had Harry Kane, I think we would have been 2-0 up in the first half, and second half would be a totally different story. We might even play the young Pelestri instead of Garnacho and things like that. So it will be a total different second half. We just didn't convert, and we know United, right? The confidence started when we scored the first goal. We couldn't even start scoring the first goal. That's the biggest problem we had. So about Mason Mount, I'm going to keep my feedback or criticism at the end of the season, because I think we like Højlund, Onana, and also Mason Mount. We need to give them more time.
You are going to give Mason Mount till end of the season when he was playing as a kid for Chelsea years and years in the BPL. Okay, when he started his life in Chelsea, England.
Yeah, but
Chelsea first team in England. So you are giving him one season.
Yeah, but we don't play like Chelsea.
Can I just add to the question, just for Josh? Are you worried looking at Mason Mount after his performances in the last 2 games? Are you worried that he cannot adapt, or do you think he can?
No, I'm not worried at all. To be very honest, this is only my personal opinion and perspective. I'm totally not worried, because Mason Mount is a quality player himself. We just need a structure to score goals. Like yesterday, right? Yes, he was missing the second half. He didn't play as well, but he is not that sort of player. Everyone has their downtime. Even Rashford, we know what Rashford can do, but yesterday he wasn't that player. But at the end of the day, we still back him up. But this Mason Mount, like what Smurf said, right? Mason Mount, he played for tons of times in Chelsea, but we are not Chelsea. He come to a different club, different manager, different style, different. Everything is different for him. We just need to give time. I wouldn't say give you at the end of the season, but I'll definitely not judge him in the first 2 games. Maybe we just see the next run of games, right? The 6, 7. And technically, the style of play is that we need Bruno and Mason Mount up attacking so that we can possess the ball in the third half, right? And Shaw or Wan-Bissaka helping Casemiro. That is the system. But we were all over the place because why? We don't know the system. Number 2, we lose the ball so easy, and when they counter, they make their chances of it. So yesterday, if it was City, Newcastle, or anyone with a high press, even Arsenal, right? Like, I think we're going to play them in the next 2 to 3 weeks. If that happens, we are screwed. So we need to start addressing all of this now in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, but this is what
Do
I
you
told
think that
you
is
from last
possible?
season. This is what I told you from last season already. We cannot play against teams that press very well because our defenders are not comfortable to play out the back.
Yeah, but we cannot hope a miracle when the 3 signings comes in the second game. That's also another thing. Like what Dom just now saying. Do you prefer it to come in staggeredly coming or don't not at all? So we need some time. We need to back them up.
No,
Yeah,
my
Go ahead,
frustration
Raj.
with Mason Mount is I don't, first of all, I don't feel he's a 60 million signing. Secondly, what is there for him to adapt? He was playing for Chelsea. He was playing in the Premier League. He didn't come from the Primera Liga or the Italian league for him to come and take time to adapt. Second, number 3, if you all remember last season, Chelsea finished number 12. Mason Mount was not even part of the starting lineup. That is the harsh reality. So for him to pay 60 million, I thought Eric Ten Hag he saw something like Dusan Tadic or something like that in Mason Mount to bring him over here. But looks like Mason Mount is not even adapting to the simplest of things, playing as a number 8. The problem,
Yeah, but Mason,
look, I'm not slating on any players. I know he's new. I know he's been given a very heavy number to wear and all those things. That's all fine. Eric Ten Hag needs to decide. It's very simple. Either you play Bruno Fernandes or you play Mason Mount. Both of them cannot play in the same team. That's what I feel. Because I feel his Mason Mount is not exactly a 10, nor is he a 8. He is a player who needs to play with the number 8. And then he has more freedom to do whatever attacking or whatever create. How many passes got cut off by the other defenders, the opposing defenders? If you all were watching the game, that is why I didn't agree with Coach Dom when he told me that, oh, he was doing a lot of passes and all this. No, he was not. Anthony was totally missing. He was the invisible man in his second season here. You're not talking about first season anymore. So now we go on transfer window. We go on a panic buy for the last 2 weeks. We bring in players who take another month to adapt. And our season only starts somewhere in September or October. And we have already lost footing in the league.
Yeah, exactly.
Is this how
100%
things
agree.
are going to be season after season?
Then some fans will say, never mind, we wait till next season.
And next
Okay,
season,
okay.
everything will explode because it's the third season syndrome and the board won't back anyone after any further. And everything goes downhill and ETH
Probably
gets
will change the manager, as simple as that.
exactly.
Instead of Dutch connection by Josh, we'll probably get Dutch lady in. But so
I mean,
okay,
this is my
Josh.
connotation of the whole thing. I just wanted to put it forward.
Okay, the last part of the show. Okay, let's get to the substitutions, and then we go on with the ratings, and then we call it a day. So now substitutions, 66 minute. Josh, do you think that taking off Aaron Wan-Bissaka was a wise idea? What was ETH logic? What was ETH trying to do?
I can only think of one thing, and I know I'm going to get scrutinized by this.
Bruno was on yellow card, yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's
Bruno
why I
was
said-
on the yellow card.
Correct. So I like I said, right, I only can think of is was having a hard time on the right because he was so hard to adjust the position on tracking Son, and we were just afraid to go 10 men down, and we had early yellow card by AW. That's the only thing I can think of. But nevertheless, I still feel we shouldn't be bringing out Dalo. We either go all out to go for the goals, or we make changes where players from the bench can make an impact. Doing Dalo and AW, I don't know. Another thing, I would say that maybe Dalo has more offensive thing, but I would disagree in that as well because AW has brought in attacking flair as well. So if you ask me overall, was the substitution good? No, totally not. I even think that why do we do substitution so late when we are losing? We needed the impact as much as early as we can. So this is something we need to tweak along the way. Like, if we can bring in the young boys like Pelestri. Pelestri has had great preseason, The last game also, Wolves also, when he came in, he made an impact. Even Sancho came in, made an impact, Why was he brought it up so late? Even if he was playing false nine throughout the preseason, just give him a chance to play number 9 then. We got nothing else to lose.
Sancho came in the 66th minute for Garnacho. Yeah.
That was the only change I probably agree with.
Yeah,
That's
that
the
was
only
probably
change.
one of the change. And the other one was Marshall, but Marshall only played 5 minutes in the 90 minutes, and they extended 9 minutes after that, so that's about 14 minutes. But once again, many kept saying that basically Marshall's 14 minutes was more than what Rashford did in the last 2 games. So once again, ETH have to basically think about his playing Rashford up front if you don't have Hodgson or however you pronounce his name for the next game. So yeah, do you think that Sancho would be a good number? A false number 9 next game against against Forest?
First of all, the greatest urban legend these days is Dalot is a better attacking player than Aaron Wan-Bissaka. It is absolute rubbish. I mean, look at him. Yesterday, he created one chance to cross, right? There were 3 players waiting at the edge of the 6 box. And where does he cross? He crosses towards the penalty area. What rubbish? I mean,
Penalty
just
spot.
pick your head up. You don't even have to find a player. Put it in that area. You're putting it at the penalty spot behind your 3 players who are in the box, right? Don't tell me he's a better attacking threat than AWB. This is not criticizing you, Josh. This is criticizing the overall thought that he's better at AWB. Actually, AWB has improved going forward, right? And that was what change I don't agree. The second change was your midfield is being overrun. You bring in Eriksen. I don't understand that. Eriksen is the person who can, when we have possession of the ball and you need to break down a low block, he's the man. You don't bring him in when you need to chase the ball around, chase the game. He cannot play that way. Okay, I would have actually brought in McTominay to help Casemiro. Casemiro was struggling in the whole of the second half, right? And he struggled against Wolves. Very similar. He's just probably not fit yet. Okay, and all this should have been, even like Josh said, Shaw is playing an inverted left back, and all this should have been corrected in preseason. You don't come into the season trying to experiment and correct. We had a long preseason. You had so many games, right? All this should have been fixed. Or in your training sessions, you don't come into the season and say, "Oh, they've still not perfected your formation." The only change I agree was with Sancho coming in for on the left side for Garnacho, because Garnacho was missing. I really would have brought in Martial. You needed a goal. He's the only striker you got, right? Criticize him where you want. He's unfit, he's sulky, but he's the only striker you have. You have to bring him in. And to be fair, at least when he came in, he was dropping down, he was carrying the ball, he was passing around. And I would have moved Rashford to the left instead of and Sancho to the right. Right? And then if that didn't work, then you bring in Pellistri and all at the end. But Martial was brought in too late when you're chasing the goal.
So at the end of the day, the substitutions by TH was once again just too late. Okay, Raj, we have a question for you by AR. Bruno needs benching, just like Pep did to KDB. Agreed?
Yeah.
Do you agree with Bruno needs benching? Just second game into the season and you want to bench the captain?
No.
Elaborate.
What I would say is more than Bruno needs benching, Erik Ten Hag needs to decide who he wants to play as the number 10. It's either one. It's either Mount or is either Bruno Fernandes. Secondly, you need to go into the market, like it or not, speak to the board, get a proper number 8. Because at least when Fred was around, as much as we slated him, as much as we hated him, he was still doing the job together with Casemiro in the center base of the midfield. Now we are light in that area. And Mason Mount is not. I'm not having an agenda against Mason Mount as much as I did for Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire and Mason Mount, totally different story.
The
right?
fish is frozen. Leave him.
Yeah. So the whole thing about Mason Mount is, okay, if there is a player in there, then you better decide where you want to play. It's as simple as that. All right. And like what Doc correctly pointed out, these things should have been sorted out on preseason. But the problem was, we were not even sure which goalkeeper we were going to in the next season. Last season, we had, who was that player we got on loan? I can't even remember his name now.
What the Goose.
Yeah. Weghorst. We had Weghorst on loan as our only striker, and we went and got a midfielder as the first signing in the transfer window when there were so many other strikers available. Right? It's either something is wrong with this. Maybe we wanted to wait for the sale of the club before we do the business, but time was ticking because everyone was still playing hide and seek or playing Saidina somewhere, whatever. But the problem is now we are in a big pickle of mess because we have sold players, some players who we wanted to sell to recoup money, and then you have some monkeys who doesn't want to leave the club and taking the club for ransom. And now we are stuck with a problem where we don't have the funds because we cannot dispose the players we want to dispose. That is where we are at. So insofar as your question on Bruno Fernandes, the manager has to choose. If he wants to stick by his captain, then do something about the field.
Yeah,
Right?
the
But
question.
So do you think that basically what he's seen in Mino? Do you think what he's seen in Mino? Okay, and then he got injured in the preseason. Probably he's just hoping and waiting for Mino to get back into play.
Probably.
Possible? Do you think?
Probably.
But do you think that? But now once again, Mino, we have seen him in preseason. We have also seen Hadibal in preseason. We have also seen Zizan Iqbal in preseason previously. We have also seen Ilanga, who we will be meeting again in preseason seasons ago. And do you think that 2 or 3 games that Mino played would actually be, bringing me into the first 11 later on will be justified immediately?
I mean,
Or do you think we still should go for a midfielder?
I think we should go for Amrabat. I mean, that's bottom line. We have to get Amrabat. Either he plays in as an 8 or he plays in instead of Casemiro in certain games. We need him in the team because that team is very light in midfield. All right, last season we fixed it by bringing in Casemiro. We have nurtured Mainu. The problem is instead of selling McTominay, we sold off Fred. That is the truth, right? We wanted to sell both of them, but we sold one of them. So that is
Salam sejahtera lagi sekali Coach Dom. Apa khabar sekarang ni?
I'm back. Done already
Eh.
TikTok.
Oh, dah TikTok. But we are almost going to complete the show. Okay. Well, let's just cut directly to the final question that I have for you guys. Because we have been running for about 45 minutes now. And okay, Brian Lee mentioned that he has lost trust in Sancho. What's your thoughts on it, Coach Dom?
I think Jadon Sancho has not been consistent lah. On off lah. Again lah, I think the benchmark that we should give any players if they can perform maybe 3 games in a row, 4 games in a row, then that we consider a good one lah. So for Sancho, I think he's already 1 foot out of the door lah. 1 foot out of the door already lah. That's so. If there are any buyers or anything, we just move him on lah. My opinion lah.
Okay, so
I think
Josh,
for Sancho, right, he plays best with the centre forward. I already mentioned this before. He would have been good if he brought in a good centre forward like Kane because they can link up play. Let's give him a chance when Rasmus Højlund comes in, and then we see how he plays. I have a feeling he will play better with a proper centre forward. Now he's got Rashford and all who don't like to drop down and play, right? Who like to make the run.
No, can I ask you a question? Can I ask you one question? Okay,
Tanya.
if you spend 2 seasons chasing one player, you spend like what 75,000, 75 million, and you're paying him 350,000 every week. You need another player to bring out the best in him. Shouldn't he be contributing to the team, bringing out the best in other players?
Agree. But the problem is, when he was bought, he was not bought by ETH. He was bought by Ole, right? And Ole actually that time had a central pivot of Martial. Martial was your top man. He had initially Rashford and Greenwood, right, playing either side, and he would have brought in Sancho actually to cover that right side for Greenwood, and probably was looking to move Greenwood into the center. So that was probably his plan, right? Now the situation has changed. We don't have a proper centre forward. We never had one last year. We haven't had one this year. So I would say let Rasmus Højlund come in because that's how he likes to play. He likes to play the 1-2. You see, even for England when he plays very well with Kane. Suddenly for England, he plays well, come back here, plays the crap. But I agree with you that he's not so far demonstrated his potential for the amount of money we spend and for the amount of wages we're paying. Definitely not on a consistent basis. There's some games he's played well, but not good enough for me.
okay, we're going to stop the show shortly. So directly final to your man of the match. We start off with Josh. for yesterday.
Man of the match.
Man of the match, yes.
Is it for both team or only United?
Only for United. Only for United. I mean, if you're going to go both teams, we know that basically it's not going to be a United player. So, yeah, we exclude the Tottenham, Bottlers, Spurs. So, yeah, only Manchester United, MOTM.
I will say the man of the match was the fans that was watching the United game yesterday. They put a lot of perseverance. They put a lot of hope and belief. And whatever you say, the positivity, I think the man of the match should go to all the fans out there who went through 90 minutes watching the game.
Abang bola lah.
99 minutes. No, 99 because the first half we had four minutes, right? We had 4 minutes of extra time in the first half, right? I think 4 minutes extra time in the first half. So it's basically about 103 minutes. Okay, Raj, your MOTM for last night, this morning's game.
Man of the match. My God. Who do I choose? I would say... honestly, I honestly don't know. Most of the players, I don't even remember who played properly yesterday. I would still go with the fans, but if you really want me to choose someone, I think still Varan. Varan was at least trying to do something in the field. If it's one of the...
Okay, what about to you, Doc? Your MOTM.
The post. Because he saved me one FFP point. If he had considered one more goal means minus one more point. But really,
Hey,
honestly, right? I
yeah.
think even the website also put it, there's no man in the match. Everybody got a free bonus point. They were that bad. You can't think of one guy who had a consistent performance throughout the 90 minutes. So, no lah, none for me.
I think the closest
Anyone for
also,
you, Coach?
closest also was Sancho when he came in lah. I think that was the closest lah.
I think Martial.
What about you, Coach Doc?
Martial. No, but wait, no.
Hey, mute.
You cannot give the man of the match to Martial because he played Malaysia. Wait. You know who is the winner, the man of the match? The guy who sold the spicy chicken, Korean chicken in Rock.
Hey, the guy who ordered it. Yes, man of the match.
Okay, guys. I think with that we conclude our show for today. And yes, we will try our level best from JomUnited YouTube group to be on the next show after the Forest game. And let's just hope that this time we will burn down the Forest. And that's it, guys. Good night and goodbye.